According to LendingTree, 36% of Americans took on debt this holiday season, racking up an average of nearly $1,200. And if you're one of them, you're not alone. I'm in that bucket as well. But are not sure how to pay it off and start saving? Our next guest is here to help. We've got Ross Mack, host of Financial Freestyle, joining me now in studio. Ross, good to see you. You've got 5 steps in your New Year's financial resolution playbook. The first is to make a budget. So how do you get started on that effort?
Listen, I think when it's all said and done, it's very important to control your inflows and outflows. You got to write it down, which doesn't seem sexy at first, but you got to write it down. You got to know what your annual expenses are, but I actually want to break it down on a monthly. So you want to know, and I always try to bucket it in a 50-30-20 rule, right? When it comes to budgeting, you want to know your wants, your necessities, and obviously investing and saving and paying down debt. And the next step, right, is you have to save $1,000, right? It sounds kind of weird, but 44% of Americans can't cover $1,000 emergency expense. What happens? Oh, now they have to take on more debt at higher interest rates. And so I think when it comes to that second step, you really want to do that. And then third step, right, is now let's actually focus on paying down that debt. There are a lot of ways, whether it's, saying, okay, do I want to do the debt avalanche method, debt snowball method, or find ways of saying, let me get a 0% APR credit card and kind of roll it over here while still being, disciplined when it comes to paying it down. But now, guess what? You're only paying down that principal. And then so when it comes to the fourth step, now it's like, look, the average American is living paycheck to paycheck, but one thing you want to do is actually have a fully funded emergency fund. I think quite too often you find people, especially, when we lived through COVID, you saw people, if you lose your job, guess what? Now, you're relying on relatives, taking out more debt. And so you want to have a fully funded emergency fund, which I determine as saying 3 to 6 months of your necessary expenses, right? That being whether it's your rent, mortgage, grocery bills, your health bills, et cetera, right? And then lastly, you want to start investing. I think it's very important that you understand you can't save your way to wealth. You have to start investing, right? At a bare minimum, right? You want to find a way to outpace inflation. And so when it's all said and done, you want to do that. I have an actual free financial resolution playbook at ross.maconomics.com.
Just quickly, we only got about 30 seconds left here, but when you think about check-ins along the way, how do you create those conscious check-ins to make sure that you're staying on track and on plan?
Absolutely. Everything starts with the budget, and why I say that is because for every step that I said, it should be budgeted into what you're trying to do on a monthly basis. So if you're trying to get out of debt, guess what? In your necessity, you want to say, okay, I want to put $200 a month to start getting out of my budget. And then the next thing is, okay, I want to put $300 a month after you're finally out of debt, right? To say, okay, I want to start building up my emergency fund. Oh, and more importantly, I now want to budget every month for investing. I think, once you set up auto investing, auto deposits, et cetera, it becomes seamless.
Ross, thanks so much for taking the time here with us today.